We got Marvin Harrison Jr. talk just in general. We got numbers. We got Benson wearing 33. Harrison gets his 18. Malik Nabers calling off a bet he has with the other wide receivers because he apparently got a look at Danny Dimes and he said, bet is off. Call the bet off. Abort the bet.
Alert. Panic mode.
If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I guess Malik Nabers and Adunze and Marvin Harrison Jr. all had a little bet, as to who would be the best rookie wide receiver in 2024. And Malik Nabers called off the bet. He went to practice, spent one day in that New York Giant environment, and he said, bets off. Bets off. We got more news. We got Caleb's been announced as starter. Zay Jones in Arizona, and more Rasheed Rice news. This guy is cooked. There's more news coming out about college. Some kind of almost like covered up as best as the media could, or the scouts knew about a lot of this stuff that we're going to talk about. But some trouble in college is brewing up, and people are speaking about it now. This kid is nothing but trouble, and I would not be shocked if the Chiefs cut him at some point very soon. All of that and more, the Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Let's start off with Let's start off with this piece of news right here. Kirk Cousins has passed every medical test as the on-field workout work begins. So that's good news for anybody wondering what's going on and they're worried about Kirk Cousins' recovery and is dealing with the entire Penix who's starting situation. Of course, it's Kirk Cousins. No one's going to fool themselves into thinking that they're going to sign a guy to a $100 million contract and then not make him the bona fide clear-cut starter. There's no looking over his shoulder. The team's already said this. It's not a matter of does Penix start week 1? No one's dumb enough to think that. It's all about what happens if something comes up. What happens if Cousins has to take a seat for 2 weeks with a strained calf and, they're worried about that turning into an Achilles injury. But Cousins is starting the year. And let me make something abundantly clear for people that think, that I'm anti-Kirk Cousins or something like that. I hope Kirk Cousins balls out. I hope Penix Jr. I hope Kirk Cousins is so good that we don't ever see Penix Jr. Because that means that he's a high-octane throwing QB, stretching the field. That means things are going amazingly in Atlanta. And if Kirk Cousins goes down, if for anybody that thinks that's what I want, as much as I love Penix Jr. and I want to be proven right, I want to be historically correct on Penix Jr. If Penix Jr. is in there, that means Cousins maybe got hurt, and then we've got one less layer of security at quarterback. The whole point of why we love Cousins and Penix Jr., despite all the negative chatter about it, the one reason we love that in Atlanta is because we have Bijan Robinson, we have Drake London, we have everybody all nice and nestled into their bed, safe and sound, completely protected. And if anything happens to one of the quarterbacks, we have one less layer of protection. We want the layer of protection to be there the entire season, because then you got all the fantasy football assets protected, and then boom. And then so that's that news. This news it's hilarious because Malik Nabers had a bet with his actually it was a former teammate. It wasn't the wide receivers. I apologize. I misspoke. It was a $10,000 bet between LSU teammates, Jaden Daniels and Malik Nabers, who would be Rookie of the Year. That was right. There was another talk about potential wide receiver bet, I think, and I mixed that up. But apparently this bet has been called off. The $10,000 bet between former LSU teammate Jaden Daniels and Malik Nabers for the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year award has been called off. Maybe it's going to come out that they called it off because they didn't want to have any sort of breaking of the rules, having a bet on something like that. Maybe that's what's going to come out about it. But I think he got his first look at Danny Dimes. He got his first look at this New York Giants situation, and he said, "How in the hell am I going to catch more than 2, 3, 4 touchdowns And it doesn't mean we don't love Malik Nabers for the future. We absolutely love Malik Nabers for the future. We absolutely feel like Malik Nabers is going to be a potential top 10 wide receiver in this league. He is just waiting his new quarterback. He doesn't have the quarterback that can make him that good on the roster currently. This is Shedeur Sanders or whatever QB the Giants go after. And the QB the Giants go after probably will be by way of the 1 or 2 overall pick. But there's no way. He probably a lot of the backing out of this bet is to do with they don't want to break rules and such. But I don't know. Part of me wonders what triggered him to say that. What triggered them to have that conversation? Was it him walking in and going, holy shit, this is not going to be a conducive environment to a 1,300-yard, 10-touchdown rookie wide receiver season. I've got no one throwing me the football. And as much as I love him for the future, he is in a very, very bad spot. Oh, there's lots of targets, Smitty. He's going to be a target hog. Good. Quality targets? Touchdown opportunities? Jalen Hyatt was pretty good, but we never saw that man do anything. And I don't think that was his fault. And Barkley got all of his touchdowns vultured, and we didn't see what Barkley was. Barkley's going to look like a top 5 running back. The Eagles are playing 10D chess with everybody in the NFC. They've been ahead of the game at every step. Bringing in Barkley, bringing in Kellen Moore to fix what arguably was a very big misstep by Sirianni, who I've made it known that Sirianni's not my favorite, but when he has the right pieces in place, the thing's a well-oiled machine. I mean, Jalen Hurts, you've got Barkley, you've got both paid wide receivers paid and happy. I see C-Mac in here. His Niners are shitting the bed all over the place in the offseason. Just absolutely worst way to handle your offseason. Just follow the Niners path. And C-Mac, you know to some degree I'm correct. Okay, you guys have one of the best rosters from top to bottom. That's what he's typing right now. Oh, we were in the Super Bowl. How bad could we be? No one's arguing that. The whole argument should be for you is if we got something going in the offseason, if we had not this Mickey Mouse, let's sign all of our players in July and piss them off and create animosity between the fan base and the players and the team and the players and let the contract value hike up because this is about money. Ayuk needs to be signed because the longer it takes, the more expensive he is. And you got to worry about every dollar counts to the Niners who got to pay Brock Purdy, according to Jed York, $500 million is what he's about to pay him. Write him a blank check and reset the market. So the Niners got played look, the Cardinals had an amazing draft. I won't say the Cardinals offseason was fantastic. It wasn't. I mean, they could have brought in Fields. They didn't. They traded away Rondell Moore, who may or may not have been the right player for the job, but they traded away for Ritter, bringing Ritter. That was garbage. I didn't like that. Niners, absolutely A-plus draft. They smashed the draft. They got Trey Benson, top 10 running back of the future. They got Marvin Harrison Jr., my number 1 already wide receiver in the National Football League. Overall, Dynasty startup, Marvin Harrison Jr. No apologies needed. I'm not going to apologize to a single one of you. That's my feeling. That's my gut. That's my ranking. And that's what it is. Cardinals are on their way. But this whole not signing your players till July and August, letting the price tag go up, there's no benefit whatsoever to it. No Niner fan can come in and even explain the benefit because there is no benefit. And so, you've got why did I even go on that tangent? Nabers, bad situation. Nabers, what will he do? Nabers, he'll be better soon. Give him a year. He'll have a quarterback. The Giants are going to be so bad. He's going to have the number 1 or number 2 overall quarterback in this 2025 NFL draft class. So he'll get his quarterback next year. But what will he do in 2024? How can he possibly be more than a 5 or 6 touchdown wide receiver in New York, where Barkley, that's where I was going. We're about to see how good Barkley is. Barkley couldn't become an elite player in New York, and he's one of the most elite running backs in the National Football League, so much so that people forget how good he is. And we're all going to be reminded, even those of us high on him, that say he's worth the top of round 2 selection on Fantasy Football Draft Day, even we need to be set straight. Even those of us that are super high on Barkley will be kicked right in the nutsack and told, you're not high enough. Because Barkley is going to thrive in this Kellen Moore offense. He's going to thrive with Jalen Hurts and 2 wide receivers, and that's where I started to go. Getting paid big bucks. They're keeping their wide receivers happy. The blueprint is the Philadelphia Eagles. Their offseason and draft were an A+ across the board. They're playing 10D chess with everybody. And they took away Brandon Ayuk's trade market value 12 minutes before the draft started, when they announced the contract they were giving A.J. Brown, which absolutely took all of the wind out of the sails of the Brandon Ayuk potential trade situation. And that was a genius move, a 10D chess move by a team that's running the tables in the offseason. Bringing in Barkley, bringing in Kellen Moore, what he did in Dallas. And you can cite how Kellen Moore didn't have success in the LAC. You can do that all you want. Just like people rip on Kingsbury for things he didn't do right in his career. Didn't do well as a head coach in Arizona. He's a freaking fantastic mind for an offense. He's a guru. He's a air attack monster. And he's going to turn Washington and JD5 into just that. But this contract right here, 3-year, $96 million, $84 million guaranteed, took the wind out of the sails of any Brandon Ayuk trade. And that's why you heard, as I said, 11 minutes before the draft started, I predicted Debo would be talked about as the most tradable player on the Niners roster walking into that moment. And nobody had reported on that yet. It wasn't anywhere. But then, all of a sudden, after the draft ended, you heard beat writer everywhere in San Francisco. Debo's now the most likely of the two to get traded because they got priced out of it. We got a member here from Mahomes is signing. I don't know what that name is. Thank you for dropping the gifted membership, whoever did that, or thank you for just signing up. Appreciate you. Malik Nabers, final conclusion here is, in redraft, does he finish as the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver in redraft as a rookie out of all the rookies? I say probably not. I say he's got a good shot at it. I think he's so good talent-wise, he can maybe get there. But at the end of the day, the touchdown opportunities probably won't be present. He's probably going to have a pretty frustrating year, to be honest with you. And while he's good enough to absorb a lot of targets, it's like, what kind of targets is he going to get? How many quality targets is he going to get? How often will this team live even remotely close to the red zone? The new kickoff rules will help them get closer to the end zone than normal. That's kind of something to take into account. But everybody's going to, in equivalent fashion, have a greater chance of getting near the end zone. So at the end of the day, what's it do? I think he's going to have a pretty disappointing rookie year, but a lot of optimism walking into 2025. Might even be a good trade candidate in Dynasty late season for people that might be like, damn it, I hate New York. This is a horrible landing spot for Nabers, and you might be able to trade him and buy him low. I could see him climbing into our very excited bucket of player walking into 2025. Another member, Chris from Vegas. Appreciate Chris from Vegas. Celebrates his 2-year membership on the channel. He says, Leggett to the moon. Chris from Vegas loves Leggett. And I don't blame him. And Chris, I've been critical of your Carolina Panthers, but they had a fantastic draft, my man. You guys had a very good, maybe A- draft. I don't give a lot of A+ out. You did fantastic. The Carolina Panthers bring in Jonathan Brooks, an exciting top 10 running back in the NFL for the future. He's going to take a little time coming off the ACL tear, but they'll ease him back in, and he'll be ready to go. He's so young, he won't have any problems unless there's some weird setback we hear about, and he needs a cleanup surgery or something unforeseen. He's going to have a good and fast recovery, and Jonathan Brooks is going to be a monster, a top 10 to 12, at least top 12 running back monster in the National Football League. And this amazing, charismatic wide receiver in Xavier Leggett, who we loved all offseason. A lot of people didn't even know who he was, and we started saying, watch him. He goes to a situation where Bryce Young, who needs to learn and mature, and he's on a very, very fragile point of his career. He's teeter-tottering on will he fail and will he not. If he goes out and fails this year, this is the kind of situation where a team goes and looks for another quarterback if they don't feel confident. He's very much teeter-tottering on that point in his life. and you hand him Jonathan Brooks, you hand him Leggett. Carolina Panthers clearly know what time it is. It's jump time. It's go time. It's time to find out if Bryce Young is the guy. And Bryce Young, who's smaller, you could say a little bit more challenged in some areas of his game. Very mobile, very, very good at running out of the pocket, finding an open wide receiver while he's navigating and on the run, looking to run and pass at the same time. I like that about him. And guess what? You give him a wide receiver that's big, that can go get the football, and you can have that moment of F it, he's over there somewhere. And that's what you want for a wide receiver for a QB like this. That's the perfect wide receiver. The go get the 50-50 balls like it's nothing. That's Leggett. And Leggett gets paired up with the quarterback that needs it most. And that will help Bryce Young be more accurate and mature along and get the football in a radius, a catch radius that only Xavier Leggett can get to. That's fantastic. I love Leggett's landing spot. He's going to be a gem. Neighbors, that news out of the way. Zay Jones is a Cardinal. This is good. This is a really good signing. The Cardinals made a very bad trade in trading Rondale Moore to go get the Ritter. Sounds like a disease. The Cardinals catch the Ritter. Now we've got a backup quarterback that I absolutely hate, which really drives me nuts. I hope he never climbs into the number 2 spot. He probably does have that, but I hope he loses it. I don't like Ritter at all. I don't want him in this offense at all. Cardinals, as every other team in the league but the Steelers, crap the bed by not getting Justin Fields for a 4th-round pick. You could have had him. He's a 6th-round conditional to 4, and everybody said, "Oh, Smitty, but the Bears wanted to do right by him. They were going to trade him wherever he wanted." That is not the case when a team ups the ante. Maybe it was with the offers on the table, but the Cardinals and every other team in the National Football League should have said 6th-round conditional to 4. How about we just throw the conditional part out and we give you a 4? Then Poles and the Bears go, forget what Fields wants, done deal. And the Cardinals have the best backup quarterback in the National Football League. The Bengals have the best backup quarterback. They got a good one in Browning, but you get my point. The Rams would have the best quarterback backing up their quarterback in the National Football League. The Miami Dolphins should have went after Justin Fields and put him in place of Tua the moment Tua goes down, because he's probably at some point going to take a shot and be done for his career. So the Cardinals made a bad move. Getting rid of Rondale for what? For a quarterback I hate? Okay, but then they make it up to me, and they bring in Zay Jones. I like Zay Jones. This is a good move for the Cardinals. It gives Kyler Murray yet another weapon, and Kyler's got an arsenal of weaponry to deal with. And now Marvin Harrison Jr., who's sporting the number 18, looks so magnificent. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. Guy's going to be the best wide receiver in the National Football League almost nearly immediately. Benson sporting the 33 overall. I love that. Benson to the moon. Benson's going to take some time. Don't expect him to grab the job from Connor if Connor's healthy. But at some point, the 29-year-old James Conner is going to break down. And Benson's going to look better. He's going to get sprinkled in. And by midseason or maybe week 8, Benson's going to be the guy, and he's going to be tearing it up and being an amazing part of our fantasy football experience. I can tell you that right now. This report right here, or this is my message off of different reports. Reports are surfacing that Rasheed Rice was involved in an incident back at SMU, back in college, brushed under the rug as much as possible, but most scouts knew about this, and now it's coming out now because you can only hide it so much, where Rice or someone with Rice, and I'm guessing maybe the footage of this was blurry, you didn't know which one was Rasheed Rice, maybe they were wearing clothing, you couldn't tell who was who, but according to these reports, where Rice or someone with Rice allegedly fired a weapon into a vehicle. The vehicle was said to be potentially empty, and it was, I think, a basketball player. They were trying to shoot the basketball player's car up, and that got brushed under the rug. This is part of when you heard that Rice had some off-the-field issues, and we didn't know exactly what all of that entailed. This is part of that. And scouts knew this. But Rasheed Rice has been a troublemaker his entire college and early part of his NFL career. And at some point, the Chiefs need to pull the cord, and the SMU cornerback that was driving the other vehicle in this 6-car pileup during the incident and accident where Rasheed Rice crashed his Lamborghini into the median, creating a 6-car pileup himself, not the SMU player driving his Corvette. He had 2 vehicles involved in the 6-car pileup that were either registered or leased to Rasheed Rice. The SMU cornerback, his buddy, was driving the Corvette, and the Lamborghini that Rice was leasing, that Rice was driving, is the one that caused the accident. It hit the median, then knocked the other cars off, killed her, and there's a 6-car pileup, and like cowards, they walk off the freeway and leave all the injured people in the vehicles. Thank God no one was hurt too severely, and this guy's been a troublemaker the entire way. And the Chiefs better pull the cord. The SMU program pulled the cord on the cornerback that was driving the Corvette. They immediately took action. The Chiefs have not yet taken action, but all this is just such a bad look. It's getting worse and worse. And you're going to have a spotlight on you the entire way through the entire offseason unless you take action. And if they don't take action and release him, then the NFL needs to put him on the commissioner exempt list paid. They don't really go through the process of putting a player on non-paid leave or suspending anybody until the legal process is played out. But there is an open door to the commissioner exempt list paid, which gets him off the field and away from everything. And then if somebody asks a question, hey, what about Rasheed Rice? He's no longer here. He's on the commissioner exempt list, and that's it. We won't, we don't know anything about it. That's up to the league. The league's going to put him on the exempt list through the NFLPA. Putting him on the exempt list paid doesn't, violate any of the agreements and arrangements and the way of thinking that is now present in the NFL in terms of innocent until proven guilty. Let the legal matters play out. That is a whole different thing. He's being paid. Yeah, it's a punishment, but it's not deemed punishment because he's being paid and on the exempt list. This has got to happen. And the NFL needs to take action at some point because this is just getting worse and worse for the KC Chiefs. Worse and worse. Caleb Williams named the starter in Chicago. We knew this was coming, not a surprise. And all these guys are out there throwing the football. It's nice to see the rookies out there in rookie camp throwing the ball, slinging the rock, and Adunze's catching balls. It's nice to see. Bo Nix is the first of the 6th round. Bo Nix is the first of 6th round QB. First round QBs to agree on his new deal. So Bo Nix is an exciting player, and there's some concerns about, I think, Denver, at least for me, and whether Sean Payton still has it, because the way he mishandled Russell Wilson all year really concerns me. But I mean, there's some upside. Nix is he was my 3rd ranked quarterback. My number 1 ranked quarterback all offseason has been JD5. My number 2 has been Penix Jr. Not Caleb at 3. It's been Bo Nix. Bo Nix I love, and he gets Franklin, his college wide receiver, to join him in Denver. So he's got a familiar face to throw the football to, and that's going to be a good rapport between those two. I'm excited about Bo Nix, and I think there's hope for him to, no matter what's in front of him, able to succeed. But I do wonder what's going to happen with that offense, and what kind of what are they going to look like a year or two from now? How many wins are they going to have, et cetera, et cetera. A.D. Mitchell, a player that has also had off the field problems. He's also struggling with managing his type 1 diabetes. I don't think it's fair to say, oh, someone's got this or that, we should not draft them or worry about them. But when we hear that they're mismanaging it or they're not doing well with managing it, that is a point of concern. So he has type 1 diabetes. He's reportedly not handling that well. There's also other things that go along with that, where you don't know if that leads to some of the off the field issues, like what is his demeanor like when he's in those situations, when he's mismanaging it. And so there's a lot of concern here, but he's wearing the number 10 to remind himself and everybody that 10 receivers were drafted ahead of him in the 2024 NFL draft, and that's kind of that St. Brown mentality. So A.D. Mitchell in Indy is a pretty good spot. We'll see if he climbs into the 1 role and takes it from the kung fu grip of Michael Pittman Jr. Rasheed Rice, this is the old news about the other incident at the kitchen where Rasheed Rice reportedly called the reporter back through a text message we hear where he said, come back. I guess there was an altercation. The reporter came back and Rasheed Rice punched him in the face. So he, according to the reports, allegedly lured the guy back so that he could strike him, is what everybody was reporting yesterday. Is it true? I don't know. It's just what a lot of people have said, and we have no other evidence other than the incident report. And the incident report could be full of lies. You don't know. So, there's that. We talked about this yesterday. Bowers signed his $18.1 million deal and $10 million of a signing bonus. This is a great tight end that's getting overlooked in Dynasty because his landing spot is not ideal with no quarterback really in place. Minshew is going to be able to feed him enough that it'll make him pretty relevant as a rookie anyway. And the Raiders and the Giants are probably in a two-monster race, right? Two-headed race to try and get the number one quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, or one of them will get the second-ranked quarterback. And who knows, by the time the NFL draft comes around in April 2025, we might be having a very fierce debate over another two quarterbacks over Shedeur at that time. So don't just assume that Brock Bowers' fate is, sealed in a certain direction and it can't navigate elsewhere. Like Malik Nabers, maybe Bowers and Nabers are going to have kind of a little bit of a rough rookie year, but there's so much ability for those two guys specifically to have their situations turn all the way around 180 degrees with a quarterback addition, because those are the two teams I believe are probably most likely to get their huge quarterback situation and problem solved next year via the NFL draft. Thomas with a super chat. Bay Area Thomas again, Smitty. Where can I get your rankings? I got Harrison, London, Wilson, Gibbs, Taylor. Of course, you can get it at thefantasyfootballshow.com, my guy. I mean, 10% off. Use code DRAFT. It still works. 10% off. Code DRAFT. Here's the fantasyfootballshow.com. You get articles, bold predictions, trade calculator, video courses, you name it. Redraft rankings, dynasty rankings, superflex dynasty, superflex redraft, rookie rankings, super rookie rankings, top 200 in every single one I just mentioned. This is like, bro, I practically invented year-round dynasty rankings, and as far as I know, no one that I know of invented the trade calculator before I did in 2003. It's why I got into the industry. Everybody's got a trade calculator now. I should have patented it. I didn't. In 2003, I sat around saying there's nobody that has a trade calculator. There's nobody that has the kind of year-round content that I want. Year-round bold predictions, year-round redraft rankings. Everybody had draft kits, and they still do. August, where are your redraft rankings? In August, they come out. Our little draft kit poo. A little draft kit poo comes out in June or July, and we'll update it 4 times. I wanted redraft rankings and dynasty rankings 365. I wanted a trade calculator which didn't exist, and I wanted it in the redraft sense and dynasty sense in May, in April, in March, in January, when the Super Bowl hadn't even occurred yet. I wanted rankings year round, and I wanted a trade calculator. It's why I got into the fantasy industry in 2002/2003 type of space. So you ask where my rankings at, where they've been for 25 plus years on thefantasyfootballshow.com, all waiting for the taking, my guy. Thomas, appreciate your $5 holler. Go get yourself the lifetime membership so you pay once and never pay again for the content on thefantasyfootballshow.com. Phone lines are open. Avoid Rasheed Rice. Don't go near him. Avoid Nabers at cost of entry in redraft. He's going in round 3. It's ridiculous, but love him in Dynasty. Cardinals to the moon. We got the best group of Cardinals and Falcons I've ever seen in my life. Look at this Smitty bunch right here. Looks fantastic. I'm so excited about both of these crews. We're bringing them together as one family under one house. Call into the show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. Phone lines brought to you by theattic.shop. Get all your apparel, your vintage movie hoodies and t-shirts. Godzilla, King Kong, The Thing, Spider. I love this apparel company. So dial in. Phone lines are open. I think my Gibboard just got delivered. My other one. The one that's mine. Part of me wants to open the sucker live on the show. Let me go get it real quick. I'm going to get the Gibboard. I'm going to open it live on the air. And hold on 1 second. Okay, so we got it right here. The Gibboard is here. Phone lines are open in a second. Hold on. Pause on the phone lines. You can get 10% off a Gibboard by going to gibboardus.com and using code Smitty. That'll get you 10% off. This is they sent me this one. I showed you the one yesterday, but this is the one that I wanted. That was the one I showed you was for the kids. Oh, buddies! Oh, buddies! This one looks smooth. This one looks really, really smooth. The Gibbon. Look at that. Look at that. The artwork on this is fantastic. The boards, the only difference between the boards are the artwork on it. But this is the manly one. You know, the ones with the waves, the ocean waves. That one I gave to Miss Smitty and the kids. Well, the kids mainly. Miss Smitty's been using it, though. I'm going to have to buy her one. Little Smitty wanted it more than anything. So Little Smitty picked out the waves version. So I showed you guys that one. If anybody's wondering what this is, it's essentially like a balance line. And so you put it down. It's like a skateboard / surfboard training device on top of being a balance, physical therapy, full workout, push-ups, mountain climbers, sit-ups, lunges, squats, all kinds of amazing standing desk environment. So you basically set it down and you just walk on it. You walk on it, you balance on it. So for like a standing desk environment, I could stand on this instead of, you know, if you're at work, let's say at your cubicle. You basically can do all these tricks on it as well, but it's also to help your leg strength, to help your balance. I mean, think about it. If you're like an older person and you get to the point where you're having trouble, this is for older people too, right? So you're like, let's say you're 70, 68, 70 years old, you're starting to deteriorate, you're not exercising, you can't balance well. I highly believe there's a correlation to balance and living longer, and I'm sure they've got stats on this. So to be able to do things like this, strengthen your ankles, strengthen your knees, and this really helps with the rehab of the knees. I did this for a couple days straight already on the other board, and I already feel like my knees are sore, but like in a good way, and they feel a lot stronger. So anyway, I love this thing. I'm going to keep it in the studio when I'm taking phone calls. I'm doing little tricks with it. You could do all these and different things with it, and then you can just balance on top of the line. It's awesome. 10% off. Check it out. Check it out. All right, phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
This thing's badass, man. Not to mention, like, it's huge. It's such a cool studio piece. You know what I mean? Like, just sitting right there. Let me go over to the screen. What am I doing? Just sitting right there in the background. It's like, especially if you're into like surfing or skateboarding and you're like getting older, and it's like, it just gives you the feel of something like that. Even though you no longer like maybe want to do that anymore. You know, you don't want to go out and crack your head open. Now you get to have a little bit of fun indoors doing some tricks, or just rehabbing, or just using it to do strength training. But little Smitty hangs out on it while she watches TV, learns balancing. It's great for her future athletics as well. So little Smitty will balance on it while she's watching TV. That's why we got the other one. And then Miss Smitty's been using it, so I think I gotta buy one. They gave me these two; they're fantastic. I love this company, but I'm gonna personally buy one. I'm gonna use that code and buy a third one. These, like I said, they were gracious enough to give them to me. But I'm giving an honest review on these. But I'm gonna buy I'm gonna buy one because I think Miss Smitty needs one. This is badass. I got Bob on the phone. Code Smitty. Use code Smitty. Gibboard. Here, let me show the website again one more time. Gibboard. Gibboardus.com. Gibboardus.com. Let me drop the link in the live chat. It is right here. Gibboardus.com. And use code Smitty. What is going on, Bob? You're live.
Hey, buddy.
What's up?
Yeah. Do you want to talk? Can we talk like general NFL or just fantasy? What?
Yeah, you can talk whatever you want. Go ahead.
Okay, so I got the Cards schedule. I mean, who they play. Schedule comes out next week, as you know. They're one of my in the NFC. They're one of my not just because of you, but because of the facts, right? The facts. The second best running back, the best wide receiver, a pretty good quarterback that can run. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm talking about. Bit of a help on the defense. You know, I've got them. Oh man. You want to go through the games quick? I'll tell you that. Rams at home.
You want me to go through the wins and losses? Is that what you're asking me? Because you're kind of all over the place. You haven't said what you're. Okay.
Okay, they're going to beat the Rams at home. I got them. I got them winning like 10 games.
Okay, LAC or LAR. That's going to be a tough game. I mean, look, the Rams are a very, very tough team. They play them twice, obviously. That's going to be a tough game. I think they probably split that game during the season. So we'll give them. You want to give them a W the first go? Okay, got it.
Okay, Seahawks.
I think the Cardinals win that one.
Yeah, me too.
And let me also make this point clear. The Cardinals, no matter what team you talk to, ask Debo, ask any player that played the Cardinals, and they'll tell you the Cardinals were dogs last year. They lost a lot of games that were really close, and they didn't go away. And the thing you heard most about players is they said this Cardinal team is they just don't go away. We ended up beating them, and they definitely lacked a lot of talent, but they just didn't go away. So
that backs up my argument.
Yeah, I think you add all this talent, and it's going to translate. Okay, go ahead. Seattle win. Go.
Niners.
I'm going to say the Niners win this first one, but I think that the Cardinals will be more in sync by the time they meet again. So we'll put an L on the board here.
What are the Cardinals like at home? Is it a good home? Is it like a really good home advantage?
Look, the Cardinals are a different team right now. I don't know that I'd even use that. Not to mention, like I said, they were a dog in every fight. They could have won away. They could have won at home. I don't think I'm going to draw any conclusions about what they are at home versus away and away versus home because they're a whole different team. But go ahead. Next one.
Okay. Yeah, I remember last year they had a good game against the Niners at home. Anyway, next one, Bears.
What?
These are all home games.
Chicago?
Bears. Chicago.
Yeah. W.
Yeah, Lions.
I'm going to say an L. I think again the Cardinals are capable of beating all of these teams they're going to lose to early on, but they're still getting their feet wet. Benson's not in there yet. Not saying Connor's bad. I'm just saying when Benson gets going, things will be a lot different. So I'm going to say Lions get the win. So I'm going to say Cardinals L. So right now they're 3-2.
Oh yeah, look. Yeah, but these aren't in order. Like you know what I mean? These are
yeah, I know.
They play.
If they were in order.
Okay.
If they were in order. We don't. Yeah, the schedule comes out Wednesday.
Yeah, Pat.
But this is all we got, so we're pretending this is the order. What's the next one?
Yeah. Pat.
Who?
Patriots.
Oh.
Pat. Patriots.
You kept Pat. I can hear it. Okay, New England. Okay, so the Pats. I'm gonna say they beat the Pats pretty easily.
Yeah. Jets.
New York Jets. I'm going to say that's a tough one. If it's early in the year, and again, we're using this even though the schedule comes out Wednesday. We're using this as if this is the order. I'm going to say the Jets beat them this early on in the year. So hopefully this is a late in the year game.
Wow, Commanders. Your man, DJ.
Washington. I think the Cardinals can win this one. The Commanders don't need to be elite yet to be exciting and to be on their way. They've got a lot of work to do. So I'll go W.
Chargers.
I think the Cardinals win this, whether it's early or late.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
They got a
These
lot
are
of
away games.
Look, the Chargers are creating. These are. Oh, you're giving me all the away games?
Oh no, sorry, no, I'm jumping. So Chargers is the last home game. You've done
Okay, you're all
home
over
games.
the place. Okay,
Okay.
Chargers.
Start.
Chargers to me are. They're gonna have more of a project going on than the Cardinals. Like the Commanders and the Chargers will both be working on their. I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Rams again. So
Okay,
we got the division.
this
Rams.
this is where I said the.
Away.
This is where I said the Rams. Okay, if it's away, yeah, that's gonna be the L. So I think they're gonna split this.
Okay, Seahawks away.
See, you should have given me the away or home because that would have changed things.
Okay, 49ers away.
Seahawks win. 49.
away.
I think the 49ers lose one of these games, whether it's away. I'm not even gonna use away or home because you didn't give that to me in the beginning, so it throws out the whole thing. So let's just.
I said home. I said these were home games.
Yeah, but
These
they play the
home.
Niners at home and they play the Niners away. So I'm just gonna say this is a W. One of them is a W.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they beat the Niners. Okay, Vikings. They got the Vikings away.
They win the Niners win the first of the two games though. Let me make that abundantly clear. The Niners will beat the Cardinals, I believe, the first of the two games. I think the second of the two games, the Cardinals are in a groove. Not to mention the Niners got to fend off all the injuries, and they lose CMC or something like that. It's going to change everything by the time they meet again.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one after the Niners?
Vikings in Minnesota.
I'm going to say it's a W for the Cards.
Yeah, me too. Packers at Green Bay.
I'm going to say it's a loss.
Yeah. Bills in Buffalo.
I'm going to say it's a loss. Doesn't mean I don't love the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a lot of work to do as well. I can't just be overly optimistic. I have to be an objective Oscar here. Okay?
Yeah. Dolphins in Miami.
This one's tough.
It'll be a good game, man.
This one's tough.
Give them a win.
Let me come back to this one. Let me come back to this one. Next one. How many do we have left?
One more. Panthers in Carolina.
Okay, Carolina's got a lot of work to do, so this is a W. So we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins? Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Something
One,
around that.
2,
yeah,
3,
that.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 wins, and I didn't do the Miami game yet.
Oh.
So 10 wins without that Miami game. It depends if this is late in the year or early in the year, because Miami could be hit with injuries or not. If they're hit with injuries, they're very beatable. If they're, beginning of the year or late in the year, they're full go, then I think it becomes a battle, like a dogfight. So even if I give them an L here, that's 10 wins. It's Cardinals 10 wins. That's more than anybody can ask for a first year out with this new look Cardinals. Like, that is unbelievable. That's like make a wild card, spot type of season. So 10 wins. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna force that 11 wins.
Yeah, and I think for them to do that, I think Seattle kind of regresses.
Yeah,
and I think the Niners regress too.
I think so.
They're not, as you know. Look, there's new guys in the championship game every year. I've got the Eagles and the Packers in the championship game.
Yeah, Eagles are going to win.
I don't think the Niners get there. I don't think Detroit gets back.
I think walking into Week 1, the Niners are the second best team in the NFC, but the problem is that's all propped up on everybody being healthy. And then if that starts to deteriorate, then the Cardinals can't be a top 2 team in the NFC if they lose CMC or they lose Trent Williams, and they lose Trent Williams and Debo. They lose Debo and CMC. Like, this is one of the most injured teams in the National Football League. And there's some rhyme or reason as to why. Some of it's scheme, some of it's Shanahan's decision-making, but it's not dumb luck. It's not, it's football, people get hurt. There's more to it than that, and people know it, unless they're not wanting to admit it.
Yeah, and the Eagles, they're going to be, everything's going to go through the Eagles, I believe.
Yeah, Eagles are the blueprint of success this offseason and through the draft. A-plus offseason, A-plus draft.
All your fantasy stuff is all the Eagles players too. So,
all right, bro.
Can I just say one more thing quickly? In the AFC, Pittsburgh is becoming very interesting.
Yeah.
With number one defense, two best running backs, Justin Fields. Are they going to cause some damage?
I think so. I think the Steelers have a lot. Think about it. They doubled up on their offensive line moves. They doubled up on their quarterback moves. They're doubling up on wide receiver again. They've just done a really good job of being very, very safe and having everything kind of buttoned up. And they had a really good draft. I think they had a great offseason and a really good draft. And they did what a lot of teams would love to do at quarterback, but didn't. They went after Fields when they didn't need him. And at the end of the day, you really do need him. And that's my whole point of why everybody crapped the bed. Cardinals even crapped the bed in the offseason, not getting Fields and bringing Fields in as the backup quarterback. The Indianapolis Colts crapped the bed, not bringing in Fields, especially these running quarterback teams. They should have went and got Fields so there's better plug-and-play potential into the offense, Fields, like Tua.
I love it. Hey, but what about the defense, the Pittsburgh defense? It was a game last year.
But that goes to the offense. The offseason. They had an A-plus offseason, so that goes to... Man,
they beat Baltimore, right? Baltimore were big favorites at Pittsburgh, and somehow they beat them. This was they got a crap... Their defense won the game. Would you remember that game? It was like, oh, man, how the hell could Pittsburgh win? They beat old Lamar when he was hot, and... Oh, man, only because of the defense. So with that defense, the defense is going to be a number one defense. And all the Justin Fields, running backs, they have to be very interesting.
This Gibboard is awesome. Yeah, I agree with you. Do I have the Steelers as my conference winner or something? No. But are they in the top? No. Are they maybe division winning capable? Are they? Yes. Are they playoff bound? I think yes. But things fall apart quickly.
I have the Chiefs. I have obviously the Chiefs and the Bengals, and then people talking up Texas. But so I've got those three, and then I'd probably have to have Pittsburgh. I think Baltimore drops off. I mean Lamar, he's kind of a choker anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Okay, mate. See ya.
Later. Bolts with Jim Harbaugh definitely beating the Cardinals. Okay, Mustard. If you say so. What's going on, Brogan? You're live.
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good, bro. Just doing it live.
Nice. Yeah, Rasheed Rice, man. I will not be surprised if that guy gets a full season suspension at this point. It's all these little incidents, incidents popping up.
No doubt, bro.
It's
I mean, the bottom line is. Let me switch over to this real quick. The bottom line is it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Every day is worse. And even though this report right here about this SMU college incident is back in the day, it's still just painting the picture about this guy's character. And if anybody says it's unrelated, that's in the past. That's stupid to bring that up, Smitty. I say it's not stupid. It's very relevant in that we're trying to figure out, is this a guy worth continuing to believe in? Is this a guy that's worth the KC Chiefs to hold on to and see if maybe he's, changing his tune? Is he going to be a guy worth betting on bouncing back? That's what it's all about. So when you start saying, okay, there's this, he's a coward and he walked off the freeway and left a 6-car pileup, 4 cars that weren't, his, and people in cars didn't even call the police or an ambulance, Instead, he called his leasing company and said, hey, I crashed the Lambo. I'll pay for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, too, it wasn't, a kind of situation where you could legally string a logic together where he could have, there wasn't like a danger. There wasn't like a tornado or anything like that where he could have said, hey, I needed to run away from the scene because for my life, I had to run away. There's nothing presently, there was nothing endangering him to run away from the scene other than, probably the threat of being caught with certain, stuff in his system, basically. I think that's my primary theory on why he fled the scene, because he was thinking, it's about to get worse. They're going to find out what's on me or on my friends or whatever. That's really my theory on why he ran away. There should be no reason why you run away from that situation. If there's nothing endangering you.
I guess I was muted. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened to my mic there. My mic must unplug.
My apologies.
Anyway, all right, Brogan, anything else?
No. That'll be all, really. Yeah. Rice is kind of cuckoo. Going cuckoo for coconuts, really.
All right, later, Brogan.
Yep.
All right. Phone lines are opening, but I don't know my mic there. My mic wasn't working. Hit me with any questions you guys have. Why didn't this work? Let me see if I can get this working. All right. It's working now. It's working now. All right. Dial in. I was trying to do some Gibboard balancing and tricks while I was on the line, and I guess the mic got unplugged. I might have hit it, and it went off. But this thing is awesome. It's a slack line, okay? And then you can do things like you're working on your knee balance and strength and turn around and then walk down the slack line the other way. And then you can do all kinds of tricks with it. And this is all just the balancing fun. This is just your standing desk fun. This is just your knee rehab. Whoa. Your knee rehab and your coordination, just your balance. But the strengthening part's awesome. The push-ups, like the sit-ups you can do, all that stuff. All right, hit me with some questions. Your boy's here to answer the call. Got my Gibboard, 10% off. 10% off. 10% off. Go to gibboardus.com. 10% off. Do it live. 62 thumbs up, 63 thumbs up, and well over 100 people in the building here from YouTube. We got, 80 to 100 on Twitter. We got a good almost 300 total people watching right now. Please push that thumb up. Do it live. Someone said I'll be on IR. That was Ron. But remember, Ron also said that he said I'd be on IR by when using this thing, and then this will keep me off IR. That's what the whole point of it, rehab. But Ron's also the guy that said that he hoped Marvin Harrison Jr. would get hurt because his ADP was too high. So some of Ron's injury predictions are built-in grudges. So if Ron's watching, he knows that's true. But this thing's so awesome, man. I love it. It's just being a studio piece looks badass, man. It just looks absolutely sweet. I love it. As you can tell, I'm promoting the hell out of it. And I'm not saying I don't need to continue to promote it the way I am. I promote things I believe in. And as you guys know with Grindhouse, when I promoted Grindhouse, who's now called The Attic, they rebranded, I didn't have a deal back in place with them for the 2024 season for quite a while. And I just came in here and plugged the hell out of them. We talk about them every other night still because I love the brand so much. When I find brands that I work with that I truly believe in, I don't care about what the agreement was or trying to, plug them. I'm genuinely telling you, like, I love The Attic. I wear this clothing. I love the people more than the clothing even. They're an amazing company. And this Gibboard company is freaking, like, I wonder if it's really Grindhouse that owns them. Because they seem like the same kind of people. They're just amazing people. And I love the board. The board's so exciting. It's just such an exciting board. My whole family's just so thrilled about it. My little one just couldn't contain herself waiting for this Gibboard to be delivered. And she watches cartoons balancing on it. It's like the best thing you could give a kid. Because they literally, they're so focused. They're trying to balance and work on the coordination. They shut up for a little while. And she's just concentrating on balancing while Bluey's playing. Or Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is on, and she's just balancing away, and I'm just like, this kid's quiet as can be. It's like a babysitter. it's like a device that acts as a babysitter and a rehab tool. Who will be a top 5 rookie wide receiver at the end of the year? Who will be the top 5 rookie wide receivers at the end of the year? That's a tough one, my guy. Because, we're talking about redraft. Right? Top 5 rookie wide receivers redraft.
Someone is at the front door.
Oh, speaking of little Smitty, she's ready for her Gibboard action. Absolutely. She's home, ready to rumble. Redraft rookies. I'm assuming this is your question. Is that Travis? I thought that was Tebow that asked that. Travis, top 5 rookie wide receivers. Redraft. As who will score the most points? I'm going to say MHJ by a country mile. This will be a top maybe 5 wide receiver finisher this year. And it'll be everybody's number 1, I think, across the board. So tier break. Number 2, if I had to guess right now, must be another Gibboard delivery. No, it's not. It's a little Smitty, but we will be probably ordering one. Gibboard finishes number 2. Okay, I would probably say Coleman. I think Coleman finishes number 2. I think Buffalo is a perfect environment. I think, it's tough to say, when you start talking about Worthy, you start talking about other receivers over Nabers and Odunze as rookie wide receivers. You start getting into a dangerous territory of trying to outthink yourself. Brian Thomas Jr. could, Lab McConkey, Worthy. They're all very capable. I think it's an arguable thing at this stage in the game. There's no exact science to trying to predict who's going to be held back by their offense. I think I would probably just say Nabers out of pure talent, and just consuming a lot of targets as much as he can get good targets thrown his way. The touchdowns will be why he falls below MHA by a mile and why he maybe I don't want to say by a mile, but falls below Coleman, who I think gets more touchdown opportunities. This is probably how I'd have it. I think that Odunze probably comes in at the end of the year. At this, he picks it up as the year progresses because I think Allen probably gets hurt. I think number 5 is probably going to be Worthy. Or Brian Thomas Jr., kind of like a tie. So we'll say 5T. So that's 5, and they tie there. And then 6 would probably be McConkey. And then you got A.D. Mitchell, who's in the mix, but redraft is tough. Like, when you go back to Dynasty, then it's MHJ still by a mile, though. And then Nabers and Adunze, and then tier break. And then Coleman's like the next tier, top of that tier. But Coleman goes from 2 to 4 if it goes Dynasty. And then Coleman's like hanging on to that tier. And depending on how good he does as a rookie will determine whether he climbs into the tier. Probably still sitting below Nabers and Adunze, but this is the guy that could maybe shock everybody. Leggett is in the mix here. You got Leggett. You got McConkey. You got, Parasol doesn't have a shot in redraft because he needs a big, significant injury. But I like Parasol a lot, but he's just not in the best environment. But that's probably how I'd do the redraft. But that changes with the wind, quite frankly. Depending on the wind blows, I might go one direction versus another. Any other phone calls? Dial in. We've been live for about an hour. This might be a shorter show tonight.
Motion detected at the front door.
Ziggy, show me the front door. This might be a shorter show tonight. Doesn't mean I'm not leaving. Ziggy off. Doesn't mean I'm leaving anytime like right this second, but I think we might be here for a shorter amount of time. So if you got a phone call, dial in and let's get through it. 100-year solar flare event coming in a few hours. Is that Prime? Is that hit in Phoenix? Like, am I going to be able to see that in Phoenix, Arizona? Look that up for me, Prime. 100-year solar flare event. Really? Let me look this up. Ziggy, is there a 100-year solar flare event tonight?
I don't know that one.
According to Ziggy, this ain't happening, Prime.
Here's what I found.
He didn't find anything. He just showed a blank screen. TMT gifting 5 YouTube exclusive memberships. TMT to the freaking moon. TMT, thank you, my guy. Dropping 5 gifted memberships. TMT. He's dynamite. TMT. Just putting up a fight. I love my boy TMT. TMT is doing good things. You might be able to see it. Well, let me know what I'm doing. Boxer Juice got a membership. Landon got one. Sepsis got one. Prime dropping gifted memberships. Absolute monster. I'm sorry, TMT. Not Prime. TMT dropping memberships. Absolute monster. Buckeye, appreciate you. What's up, my guy? Guys, don't forget, if you want a Gibboard like your boy Smitty, if you want to balance, you want to be a balancing machine and have like fun tricks and in a very fun standing environment. I don't even think if you guys work in a cubicle or something, or you work, I don't think your boss could tell you can't bring the Gibboard in. You just show them it's physical therapy balancing board. I don't know what they'd say. I could see them saying take it home, it's a distraction, but I mean, it's a standing desk tool. It's for your ankles. Like you deny me the ability to have, like, if you could have one of those what do you call it? Those what do they call them? Where you put your wrist on the pad, but it's what's the phrase? Ergonomic. An ergonomic keyboard, ergonomic chair, ergonomic standing desk environment. Like, this is so fun to just stand on and work on your ankle strength and your knees. I think you could do it. I think you could maybe get away with it. You might have to get a little written permission slip or something from Bob, your supervisor. But I love this thing. Use code Smitty at gibboard.us. I'm telling you. Code Smitty. Do it live. Let me put that on this little message here. And again, I'm promoting the hell out of them because I love it. I really do. I've had 3 people message me saying they either used the code already, or one of them for sure did. But 2 other people saying they're buying one ASAP. Code Smitty. And that excites me because I know there's other people using it that I know. Phone calls coming in here. We got Bob from Cali. Bob from Cali, what is up, my guy? Different from Bob from... Where was Bob from? New Zealand? What's up, Bob from Cali?
What's up, Smitty? Somebody talked about the Herschel Walker trade. Can you talk about Dak's potential landing spots, if it's his last year there, and what the ramifications could be for the Cowboys if he were to leave?
So, yeah, if you guys need a doctor's note for work to use these Gibboards, I will write Smitty Deepfake Fantasy Doctor in scribble at the bottom, but I'll sign them. I would say, like, if we're going for Dak to go where in 2025 if he leaves, Dak to, and we'll put a question mark here, Dak to where in 2025? I would probably say LV would be the top spot for right now. I think the New York Giants will be in the cards. I think any team that's going to maybe miss out on getting that number 1 overall pick is going to consider it. So if LV gets the 1, they're taking Shooter Sanders. Giants get the 1, they're taking Sanders. So, or let's say another quarterback climbs above Sanders, whatever it is, the 1.1. I think this other team will be very eager to use that 1.2 on the quarterback as well, whoever the second quarterback is. I mean, just think about how many we had this year. I think we'll at least have two quarterbacks in the running for, potentially the top quarterback spot walking into the 2025 NFL draft. I think these are your two best bets. I can't even think of like who else would be. I'm trying to glance at a sheet I have right here of some draft stuff that we were doing. So I'm just refreshing my memory on who's going to even be a free agent. What other the Saints maybe? The Bucks could be like, who knows what the Bucks are looking at later. I mean, what if Baker sucks, Seattle, they got wide receivers galore. I mean, we just don't know. Like the Rams could, Stafford could retire or something. There's so many scenarios that could pop up. Miami, what if Tua gets injured and he's out, mid-season, he's retiring because of a concussion or something. So those like players that aren't really in the mix for quarterback now might get in the mix, but the two most QB needy teams in the league are the LV, the Giants, and the Saints. So I'd say those are your three most likely as of this moment teams for Dak. And if Dak leaves, who replaces him? Do the Cowboys trade up for Sanders? And if they do, then that's pretty good. But is it better than Dak? Probably not. Dak and CD have a very special relationship that makes Dak the number 1 or number 2 redraft wide receiver this year. So how could anything get better or even stay the same by replacing a quarterback and throwing a rookie in there? And I don't know what veteran the Cowboys could get. I mean, maybe something unveils itself later, but right now I can't imagine a big-name top 5 quarterback being traded. So if Dak leaves, we're talking about CeeDee Lamb getting demoted down to probably well below where JJ is. Because if JJ, who's better than Lamb, I mean, talent-wise, I think everybody can admit that, because before JJ's quarterback situation got put in flux, he was the number 1 wide receiver without hesitation by everybody. And now he's 6 overall, 7 overall, wide receiver, 3, 4. So I imagine Lamb without Dak and no real notable quarterback. How does Lamb float in the top 4 anymore? So it's very, very concerning. And so from a dynasty perspective, I'm telling people to maybe shop Lamb. Just shop him. I'm not saying, because Dak could get an extension tomorrow, and I've made that abundantly clear, and people should not be doing stupid trades, knee-jerk reaction trades. Make a trade that's good for you, even if Dak re-signs. Your trade of trading Lamb away should have a component to it that you're still happy even if Dak re-signs, because if Dak re-signs and you regret the trade, you made a horrible trade and you panicked. All right.
I appreciate it.
All right, Bob.
Have a
Later.
good night.
Later, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, buddies. Yeah, buddies. Anybody else want to dial in before we end up jumping here in a second? Chris from Vegas, what's up, my guy? Appreciate you. As a Raiders fan, I'll stick with AOC or Minshew and wait for a better QB. Paul says, especially if you have a bad record, you're going to get a good shot at the 1 overall. You know what I'm saying? So no doubt, my guy. No doubt about it. Dak to the Saints would be nice, says Mustard. I wouldn't mind that. I think any one of these three. I think Dak to the Giants would be the best because you get Nabers, to climb up here. Adams might, fall off, and then if he's even there, and then what do you have? You have Bowers, which is good, but I'm just saying, like, Nabers is a little bit more attractive for Dak. I mean, Dak would do well with Bowers. He's made Ferguson look pretty good, so it's not like he ignores the tight end position, but I think it'd be a little bit better for Dable to have Dak. And look, if anybody's going to bring the best out of Dak, it's Dable. Dable and Dak would be a good combo. Kind of feel like it's destined. But again, Jerry Jones is so capable of flipping and doing a 180 and being like, we need to get Dak under contract. I've thought this through, and I wasn't thinking it through. Is basically what I just thought through. And we have no options. If Dak balls out, we can't retain him, and he won't even want to stay. He's got a no franchise tag in his contract. There's no way to keep him. If Dak balls out, he's gone. He's going to the highest bidder, and he wants to get out of a place that didn't want him. You know what I'm saying? Shedeur Sanders to the Raiders. I mean, he's going to be controversial. I think there will be some quarterback that climbs ahead of him in some people's minds. It'll be similar to the JD5 Caleb. Like, Caleb's the consensus one to most people. Not to me. He's not even in my top 3. But Caleb is a consensus one to most people, even in fantasy. And I think Shedeur Sanders will be too. But there will be one or maybe 2 quarterbacks that creep up and kind of give this whole, Shedeur's a lock, a little bit of a run for its money. And so there will be probably 2 quarterback options capable of landing in one of these 3 spots. So, LV and New York could both be taken care of. And you wonder if, where's the other thing we haven't thought about is where's Fields playing? Like, he could be franchise tagged, but maybe they don't want to tag him, but he played well enough. Like, Fields could naturally walk straight in to the New York Giant room. LV, he could walk straight in. New Orleans, he could walk straight in. I was very shocked that Pierce didn't want to acquire Fields. I was very, very shocked. Imagine Fields with Nabers. Imagine Fields right now in LV with Devontae Adams and Bowers. I don't get it. Imagine Fields with Olave. Olave would turn into a top 5 wide receiver easily with Fields. Fields did that with DJ Moore. I don't know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be probably back tonight. It is Friday. I usually do go live. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Underdog Fantasy will 50% match on your first deposit up to $250 by using code Smitty. Meaning you drop 100, they'll give you $50. You drop 10, they'll give you 5. You drop 20, they'll give you 10. And the minimum is only 10. So if you want to draft with me, and if we do come back, that's what we'll do tonight, because we do that during the graveyard shift now, going forward. Hit that link I just dropped in the live chat and sign up. The minimum is $10, and it gets you signed up and ready to go so that you don't miss out when we're drafting. So click that link, $10. They'll give you a free $5 bonus match up to $250. So that means that if you deposit $500, you'll get $250. If you deposit $600, you'll get $250. They'll 50% deposit match you up to $250 in terms of what you're getting. So, you do 100, they'll give you 50. You do 200, they'll give you 100. You do 300, they'll give you 150. You do 400, they'll give you 200. You do 500, they'll give you 250. You know what I mean? So all the way up to 500, and then they'll give you the 250. So hit that link. I don't know how long that special is going to last, but I would take advantage of it right now. So you get that. If you do 10, you get the $5 additional, and then you're ready to rumble, and we're going to draft. Fields is done, says John. John, tell everybody. Tell everybody Fields is trash. Make sure nobody drafts him. Tell it to everybody in your league. Tell your Aunt Edna in your big, baller league that you play in. Tell your Aunt Gertrude, Uncle Bud. Tell everybody in your league that you play in. We don't want anybody drafting Fields high. I see Dak having an MVP season 2 since their rushing and defense won't be near as good. Yeah, but the problem is, bro, he had an MVP season. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like if he was a free agent, he would have got gobbled up. But instead, they lost in the playoffs, and instead of blaming the entire team, the coaching, not having RBs, they blame Dak. So if Dak does ball out but loses, and they're not winning, like in the playoffs, they can't. They don't have a running game. They don't. He's gonna have a good statistical year, but will the wins be there? Probably not. They don't have balance. They don't have a good running attack. They screwed the pooch on that. They should have brought in one of the big running backs. They didn't. Jerry kept preaching, I'm going for 2024. I'm going all in on 2024. Screw 2025, 2026. We're going all in. Well, where's the RB? Don't tell me they didn't have money. I don't want to hear that ridiculous cop-out. You can move that around in a second. Not to mention a Dak Prescott extension opens up so much money. You free up enough to get Lamb and a RB if you just extend Dak Prescott. So I don't want to hear it. But even if Dak balls out like he did last year, there's doubt around him, right? Like if he loses in round 1 of the playoffs and balls out all year, like Jerry didn't want him anyway because that just happened and Jerry didn't want him. Balled out all year long, top 4 QB all year long. So I don't know what's in store for him. All I know is the team's going to be willing to say, you know what? You're not winning because of them. You're scoring and producing because of you. Let's take that, bring it over here to New York, where you got Malik Nabers and Dable. I'm Dable. Hi, I'm Dable. Let me cultivate you. Matto says he's gonna stay a Dallas Cowboy. He could. Jerry could wake up tomorrow on the right side of the bed randomly and be like, today seems like a signing Dak Prescott day. I think it's very, very smart to draft Dak Prescott or to sign Dak Prescott and bring him into the fold long term. Do I look like the kind of guy that wouldn't sign Dak Prescott to an extension? It was always going to happen. I just needed to wake up on the right side of the bed one day and sign Dak Prescott to the dagnabbit good contract that he's supposed to have. And now we've got him, and now we're ready to look to the future. We're going to try and win in 2025. We don't have any RBs. We're going to regret the signing after Dak loses in the first round because we don't support him. And then we're going to blame Dak Prescott for the L. That's how it works here in Dallas. Any other further questions before I go take a nap? The Rams need to have a plan for life after Stafford. Yeah, everybody should be taking a play from Raheem Morris's playbook. Because everybody's too busy making fun of Raheem Morris drafting Penix Jr. This guy's giving everybody the preemptive blueprint as to the succession plan that should be in place for teams. So ridiculous. At the end of the day, guess who's going to look like a genius? Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson are going to do wonders and look like geniuses when all is said and done. When the one half of this Brady Bunch crew, the Smitty bunch, ends up balling out, and Penix Jr. and Alice together are two of the very, very, very best QB combinations in the league. I mean, the Falcons are secure and dangerous at quarterback, and you can say whatever you want about drafting Penix Jr. that early when you've got a $100 million quarterback. You know who doesn't care? Raheem Morris. You know who doesn't care? Bijan Robinson owners. You know who doesn't care? London or Kyle Pitts owners. Or at least they shouldn't, but yet they're complaining about it. And I don't know why they're complaining about it, because anybody that has vested interest in Bijan, London, Kyle Pitts, or the Falcons, even as a fan, should be pretty damn excited. The Falcons may set a new trend. That's right, Chris. I like the way you think. They might. TMT gifted another 5 memberships because he just likes to do it. He's a monster. He doesn't know any different. He doesn't know how to do anything else but be dominant. TMT, appreciate you dropping 2 different $5 gifted membership on everybody. Braun was gifted 1. Joseph gifted 5 memberships as well. Look at this. So gifted 5. That was TMT doing 2. Joseph gifting 5. You guys are absolute monsters. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate you dropping a $5 on everybody. Fantasy Dad was gifted 1. Scott was gifted 1. Scribbles was gifted 1. Landon was gifted 1. Didn't Landon already get 1? Did he get 2? James must have got 1 because he said thanks to TMT. All right, appreciate you all. Breezy says, can I get your thoughts on Deontay Johnson and a 26 first rounder and giving Tank Dell? I'd rather have Tank Dell. My guy. I mean, I don't think Deontay is going to be as good as Tank, and 2026 is so far out there. Will the league even be around in 2026, man? I'm not saying it won't be. I don't know your people, but I just don't think I want to go that road. I like Tank Dell a lot, and while this could be decent for you, I think some might tell you to take it. But in a dynasty, I have no faith in Deontay being a long-term answer, if not even a 2024 answer. I don't know what he's going to have in store. He's got bricks for hands, and he's got Leggett there and Thielen, and it's like a crowded wide receiver room, even though it doesn't have like tremendous overstock talent like other spots that have 2 or 3 guys, but it's still very potent in terms of not potent. It's still very, I guess it's crowded. It's just crowded, and so you don't know what you're going to get out of him. And he's a stone hand man anyway. So give me Tank Dell. He's got a bright future. You got a 2026 first rounder that I hope your team's good enough that it's a late pick anyway. So it's like, 12 overall, 10 overall with Deontay, who's going to be worth nothing in 2 years, in my opinion, for Tank Dell. I'd rather have Tank Dell. I'm not doing it. Appreciate your question. Smitty, what players should I target in a 10-man standard scoring redraft league? This makes it, I guess, in general, because best player available, is my thing. This makes me want to go the Kyron Gibbs or the Hall Kyron or the Hall Gibbs approach more than ever, because you're shortening the snagging of wide receivers, and so wide receivers are going to last, and the running backs are very, very thinned out. So I very much think that's a good approach. I think you'd have very, very, very little trouble drafting like a Gibbs, Kyron, Hurts, DK, Devontae Smith, and a 10-man. And then I love those wide receivers considering, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the way I would look at it. But balance is always really good too. I don't force anything. I'm just saying I'm more apt to try a running back in a 10-man. I just think it's a good look. All right. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all probably tonight. Hit that link, Underdog Fantasy, in case we do a draft tonight. I'm going to drop it one more time. There's the link. And I'll see you all tonight doing drafting. Appreciate you all.
Excuse me, Jalen. Reporter Randy here from the Take a Lap Times. Do you know you're currently a 3rd to 4th rounder in fantasy drafts?
For 3rd to 4th rounder?
1-0.
Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, live when big news breaks. Don't forget to get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com, thefantasyfootballshow.com for year-round rankings, bold predictions, and more. Deuces.